Hey everyone, I want to show you a game against an Abbasid dynasty because I think this topic is pretty fresh, and I had a recent game against an Abbasid player, and I kind of tried, let's say, a peculiar opening with archers and Mangudai. Definitely going into Horseman Rush initially, and then moving to Mangudai and archers. And I found this one to be pretty effective. So I want to share with you how I have played this. In case you are playing against an Abbasid player, I think there are just some basic principles that you can apply in order to secure a very positive outcome. And I think these situations, like these positive outcomes, can be obtained with Mongols, let's say in the from the third until the 8th minute. So this is how I saw the whole Mongols thing. That you have like an 8-minute window starting from the Dark Age to delay your opponent's tricks for quite some time. And since you have access to so much cavalry, you're going to be on the other side of the map pretty fast. So what we're doing is we are scouting the stone outcropping. I have went here to check for the sheep. As you can see on my build, this is my classical build with the horseman opening. Since the Uvo was so far away, I had to build with one villager. Usually, I build the Uvo with 5 villagers. If let's say if the Uvo if the stone was here, I would have built it here with 5 and then rallied to wood here. So in this situation, it kind of takes some time until we get the 120 stone we need, but it's still okay. It's not as fast as the other opening. And so, meanwhile, we still have time. With the horseman opening, it's not a big urgency to go and spot out the gold. So you have time to actually circle the entire base and to look for the best spot in which to attack. And here I found this one. In my opinion, once you are here with the Khan, it is actually a pretty good idea to stay here because the sheep, there is still quite a lot of sheep here. If I click Ctrl Shift A, you have the amount of carcasses that you can find. So if you select all units, you can see how many carcasses you have, and then you have a rough idea on how much time you have left. I'm not very sure if I can cycle through individual sheep, but it doesn't matter. So I have rallied my horseman here initially, but I noticed that he went from this food, he went straight in that direction, which kind of told me that he is going for the stone. Oops, I hit the microphone. Also, what happened here is I don't think he actually scouted what I'm doing, and I think if you are playing against Mongols, I guess one of the big mistakes that you can do is not scouting. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm diving under the town center because I usually feel quite safe with these horsemen, and I feel like getting a villager delays your opponent. So sometimes it feels like it's worth it, especially if if the mining camp is out of range and there is no danger. But this, in my opinion, this comes with a cost. So I'm not very sure what you recommend. Should you go for a TC dive, kill a villager, or should you keep your horseman? I would much rather stick for keeping your horseman protected. Because in this game I realized, okay, since this horseman is so low on HP, I'm going for a third horseman in case, let's say, he's going for military wing. But it's not the case, it's not the case. And I was pretty surprised to see that he didn't go for military wing, which gave me more advantages. So at this point, I have kind of pinned down the Abbasid. And remember, if they are not going for military wing and you are in this position of having the horsemen around here, then yeah, you're good. So basically, we have created an advantage with this one. Now he's going for Spearman, which is pretty good call here. I went for 6 on the deer stones. Just spotting out the barracks. Which, you know, it might seem like an issue since you have only horsemen. Yeah, the spearmen will be quite a challenge to beat, and you won't be able to beat them properly. But we can still toy around with these spearmen, right? Because we have the Khan. And yeah, if you start attacking the spearmen, then it's actually, yeah, but with the Khan, not with a horseman, definitely. I mean, you can take a hit from the spearmen and weaken them with the horsemen, but what I would like to do, and I should have done here, was attacking this one with the Khan, but of course you can't be everywhere at once, right? So yeah, spearman kind of tells me one thing. Yeah, we're going for Mangudite, right? So that's obvious that we're doing this. Awakening the spearman. I kind of feel it's impossible to kind of stop this once they have 3 spearmen out here. It's getting pretty hard. But we can still do some poking damage here. Why not? Let's see how much stone they need. 350, 245. So as you can see, it's pretty tight. And this kind of tightness suggests that it is not impossible to actually delay this kind of stuff. I don't know how I could have brought Mangudai much faster, maybe if I had went with 7 on the deer stones, but at this point it's still looking pretty okay for us, right? Because we have the Mangudai, now we're actually winning this fight. And yeah, it's looking pretty good for us. Keep on killing the spearmen and keep on attacking. I guess this is the best thing we can do at this kind of stage. Ah, yeah, and once the Abbasid gets their stone, they actually need the wood as well, so it still takes some time. Yeah, and this is a good opportunity to do some more damage. I guess the best thing you can do is to kill some villagers before they start building the town center. And the truth of the matter is you cannot be at every place at once. So if I had kept my Mangudai here and my horsemen here, then my Mangudai would have been vulnerable to archers, potentially, and the horsemen would have been vulnerable to the spears. So maybe I should have kept my Mangudai around here. I'm a little bit slow with this one. But remember, you cannot completely deny the construction of the town center, but you can delay it that much. You can delay it by so much that you have a very strong advantage. Notice that I usually sacrifice my horsemen to the spear damage, and this is mostly to protect my Mangudai. I kind of don't feel too bad for the horsemen because they are not as gold intensive as, let's say, Keshik. So you don't want to lose Keshik the way I lose horsemen. I feel like horsemen are very exposable, or you can just, yeah, you can sacrifice them to some spear damage to protect your gold units. So yeah, count them as living sacrifice somehow, like you know, cannon fodder. Got some resources here, and yeah, this is what it looks like. I started building a market because the moment the Abbasid player has the second town center, his economy boom will start. And in order to catch up with the economy, we need the markets, and preferably 2, right? So we want to keep this kind of advantage. I find his positioning of the second TC to be pretty good, because you don't have many spots in which to sit and attack without taking a lot of town center damage. So yeah, at this point it's basically yeah, just messing up units, trying to find some ways to poke, trying to keep up with every spear archer composition that your Abbasid player throws at you. So you need to keep your cavalry composition, because, well, the problem with Abbasid is that if you take fights that disadvantage you, then you are in trouble, because the Abbasid players, let's say after the 15th minute mark, they can pump out so many spear archers that you won't be able to keep the pace with an Abbasid player. It's impossible to keep the military pace with an Abbasid player. So you need to go differently about it. And this is by not taking damage and by trying to kill as many spears as you can. So we're going to try to focus the spears. Once they have maybe just a few spears, then it is possible to charge in with Kashik and other units without taking too much damage. So this is what we are aiming for. I'm not going to look at the entire game just because it's going to be the same thing, like for maybe 15 minutes until we both reach Castle Age. As you know, my favorite part of the game is the feudal fights. So I'm going to focus on this one. As you can see, my opponent is also just throwing villagers wherever he can. Probably his mistake is not walling this part, in my opinion. In his position, I would have walled this somehow, and this would have been wallable until this point, to create some blocking points against Mongols, where you can, you can catch the cavalry in, choke points that you can create with walls. And also, before I'm going to pause this game, what I'm also doing is I'm putting my deer stones there. I'm kiting as usual. Deer stones is because the speed, I noticed that the speed makes such a big difference. You know, the speed that you have on your horses, that really makes very, very big difference. It's so much easier to run away from spears and archers, and deer stones is a very good it's a very good buff. It's a very good buff for your units, because you already have the speed advantage. Now having even more speed is actually top, and this is how you actually want to fight against such defensive civilizations. I don't know why he didn't put maybe some spears in this town center, but okay, I'm playing against a diamond player, so it's pretty natural to make some mistakes. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Catching some villagers off guard. And also, I want to show you that he's on 60 villagers still, despite having killed so many villagers of his. I'm still at yeah, now we're equal, but still, yeah. This kind of shows how much you have to insist in order to keep the balance in terms of villager count. Having this deer stone here is pretty dope, because we can kind of bait him into constructing siege rams and all these kind of things. So investing like 600 resources just to destroy something that is highly mobile. I mean, you could have invested these resources in farms. You would have had more advantages here. Okay. Okay, and now he's. I just realized that he tried to corner me, but yeah, it didn't go as planned for him. Because we are actually cleaning up the archer line. Okay, he's actually deleting my cavalry. And yeah, of course, I'm doing stupid things here, just like fighting under town centers and you know, risking quite a lot of units. I wasn't paying attention here. And this is where I thought, oh fuck, I lost. I actually wanted to attack with the archers, but I attacked with the cavalry. I still have trouble assigning like control groups if I'm playing with cavalry and archers. It's so hard. It's so hard, but I kind of feel like this is the right play for me. I just realized that this is my kind of play style, you know, just go for cav, but you know, kind of throw some subtle archers, you know, just suddenly suddenly just having archers all over the place kind of seems like a good play here. Let's continue. I think I'm going to go through the entire thing just because we've been here only for 15 minutes and I guess it's not that bad still. So yeah, we'll just go through this quickly. Also, yeah, I'm taking over the map because I can, as you can see. So, yeah, it's looking pretty chill for me. Now we're actually, yeah, we're just getting everywhere. So basically, at this point, we can kind of think about ending the game. You know, the archers super nice. I like to have them around here because yeah, they can deal with spearmen. I mean, they can deal much better with spearmen and clear spearman line much easier than Mangudai do. So having Mangudai and archers is pretty dope, I would say. And usually with archers, I have no problem sacrificing them. They actually did a pretty good job with killing that many spearmen and villagers. So yeah, that's fine. We're in a good spot. Always finding some villager kills here. And now we are retreating a little bit after doing this damage. And I like to retreat, but at the same time, when I am going back, I want to make sure that my opponent didn't use this occasion to expand in corners that are not so obvious. So there might have been a risk for him going for this gold. Also, what I want to show you is that even if you do everything right, and if you do that much damage, you are still running the risk of losing the game if you do not keep up with the unit production. So yeah, okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Because we want to see the fights between cavalry and infantry. I guess this is the most interesting thing. Small amount of Mangudai actually, but also a small amount of spearmen coming from him. So we're finding damage wherever there is damage to be done. Now, just got a little bit cornered here, but it seems like if we go for the archers, everything is good, right? Like I said, you know what I always say is separate your Mangudai from the melee line. Archers for sacrifice here. And we want to check the final fight here. Of course, very silly of him to go under the Kurultai, so don't do that. If you're playing against Mongols, it's really bad. Because really, just look at this, yeah. Veteran Mangudai, 10 damage. And this one, 8 damage. Veteran Archer. So, Mangudai are better than archers under Kurultai. Especially judging the fact that, okay, what's the attack speed? 162. Is this 0.88, so it's nearly double, right? We're taking care of the spear line, which is silly. You know, I should have actually just ignored the spear line, or maybe I should have been a bit slower about it. Just doing a bit more damage before actually diving in. And yeah, basically we're just waiting for the main fight here to happen. But yeah, you know, it's it's impossible not to win this one. If you do everything right, it should be alright. The range you have with the Mang Yudai and the Khan's Hunter is just more than enough. So you don't really need more than this. And I feel like Mongols in the Castle Age, they have such advantages with the amount of damage and range you can get from the Mangudai. If you manage to get the numbers with trade and all that, you're good. You're really okay. Yeah. And this kind of stuff kind of calls GG. So yeah, as we have seen, it wasn't so tough to beat his army because he didn't really manage to make an army in the first place. And yeah, this is kind of how an Abbasid game looks like. Make sure that if they go for a lot of spear archers, that you can mix in archers. Make sure that if they reach Castle Age quite fast, then there is a big chance that he is going for the Lancer, like for for camel riders and lancers and camel archers. So you might want to have some spearmen ready if you see that there are quite a few stables out there. So yeah, this will give advantages to your main cavalry line. And now we're actually just looking at the siege of the of the settlement, of the Abbasid settlement, the siege of Baghdad by the Mongols. Let's just find some books and throw them in the river, in the Tigris River, and get rid of knowledge, because all we need is horses, right? Yeah. So yeah, this is how it looks like currently. Besieging the settlement and just slowly getting the win. A bit slower than I had thought and anticipated and wanted, but yeah, that's the play here. See you around.